man. I gotta get back so I can go.
Gotta get your reaction to last Saturday night.
I didn't see the fight. I didn't see the fight.
You didn't see it? Oh, you didn't stream it like Bomac? Bomac streams your fight.
No, I wouldn't. I'm calling people on him. No, I wouldn't do that. No, I don't. No, I didn't see it.
First of all, how you feeling, Coach? Good to see you. How you been? I've been on the road. I was in Greece, Italy, Romania. What brought you here tonight?
Oh, I had a young kid I'm working with the Arrow promoting. So.
Oh, congratulations.
You guys won?
Yeah, he just won. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Talk to us about him, light heavyweight, correct?
He's like, well, he's won really a 68 pound.
Right. He weighed in at like 69, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, true.
Talk to us about him. A lot of people, obviously, he's now 2-0, correct?
2-0, Burley Books. He's a young up and coming guy. He's pretty good. Errol likes him a lot. So if Errol really likes him a lot, he spars with him as well. So he's helping him, and he's a good fighter. He's a young good guy.
What about him is it that Errol sees that catches Errol's eye?
He's been around us for a long time. He's really learned. He's really watched, and kind of so that's kind of really what he's been nurtured. So now it's like he's developing it. So it's time to go get it now.
Hey Derrick, saw a great interview with Errol on Boxing Scene talking about the fight.
Right.
Obviously, on this side, you got tons of great fights to make. But when that's done, do you think we will at some point get Crawford, Spence?
Yeah,
Spence Crawford?
I think it's without a doubt. Why wouldn't it be? It's just like everybody's agenda is not, like I said, Al Heyman has plans and goals. Bob Arum has plans and goals. Unfortunately, at this particular point, Bob Arum's plans and goals have a lot to do with Errol, right? Al Heyman doesn't have anything to do with Terence Crawford. So that's but these plans are for years ago. You can't live in the present. This is something presently that he's dealing with, but obviously Al's been playing on this for years, working on these things for years, developing what he's doing for years. You can't do it on one night and say, okay, it's that. No, there's other things going on. And I'm not in it.
Obviously Terence is across the street with Bob, you mentioned that, but Errol has more options here on this side of the street. Sean Porter, WBC reported that the fight is going to happen next. Can you talk about that? And then
I don't know about it. So
okay.
I heard about it, but until my people confirm it with me, that's for me to say it's really not.
So that's one option. Obviously, Errol stepped into the ring back in September when he claimed that title, the vacant title. Another option is Keith Thurman. Keith Thurman was a fighter that Errol used to call out years ago before he was champion. He said, "Get a strap, wait your turn." Well, now everybody feels like it's Errol's turn. Why do you think Keith isn't calling him out?
Well, I think first of all Keith been out for 2 years, right? When he fought the last kid, he looked good up until the 7th round when he got hit.
Right.
I think, from my estimation, he needs more fights to get himself back reacclimated, right? But boxing is not that type of situation where they're gonna work with you because you're a champ. Because you can relinquish your title and get the fights you need and come back. But other than that, being a champ, I don't think they'll let you do that. So I think that's the issue that he's having. And I think he should be allotted that opportunity because only reason why is because I wouldn't want Errol to beat him in the present state. I want him to be as close to 100, if not 100%,
as
possible before they fight. And that's really what I want and desire. If I had anything to do with it. So give him his time to get work back into it and get himself together and be 100%.
That said, there's talks. Keith Thurman, who is the WBA super champion, but Manny's the WBA regular champ. There's talks of that in July. How do you see that fight play out? They both fought in January. What are your thoughts?
I'm just gonna look at it as a fan, man. I'm just like, I don't really have any special interest in it. That's for them to be want to win or whatever. I'm just gonna watch it as a fan, and that's how I'm gonna really enjoy it. As a fan, not really. And then if after this whatever fight we fight, then we can get on to that fight, whatever.
And Derrick, I think one thing though, fans worry about with Spence and Terence is, do you think if it gets to 2021, Spence can still make 147?
Yeah, man, make the weight easy, man. That's not the weight. The weight is not a problem.
Because everyone talks about he's so big for 47.
He's the right size.
Right.
All these other guys, the smaller guys moving up, right? It's like Mikey, no different. So people talk about Mikey, but they talk about Terence Crawford. What's the difference? He was a middleweight, lightweight champ, moving up. You know, so and Danny Garcia did the same thing. So what? Think about that. So you can't have one argument to say this guy was too small, but they're basically really about the same size. You know what I mean? So I think it's the same argument, but I think at the same time, I think that.
I hear you. They fought in the amateurs and everything. Terrence and Mikey same weight, but I guess people would say.
Well, even as a pro, they were both champs at the same weight division.
Right, but they would say Mikey started at 26.
Well, I mean, I don't know about that. I just know that at 135 they were champs at the same time. So there's no difference. Even, I mean, to me, it's not. What about Danny Garcia? He was 135 pounder.
How big of an A side do you think Errol Spence is? 70-30, 60-40, 65-35, Terence Crawford?
I don't know about the A side, B side. I think it's like I believe A side, B side is whoever wins the fight. Because that's, I mean, you can go in with the idea of you're underdog, you're not underdog, but whoever wins the fight is the true, whatever,
Coach,
A side or
here's an A
whatever.
side behind you. You know Rolando Romero? Have you met Rollies yet?
No.
He's a personality. What's the record now, Rollies?
9-0, 8 knockouts.
And he talks sometimes more than his record. He's very popular.
When the Floyd Mayweather fighters just fought last weekend, his fighter,
Sent the guy to the hospital.
literally had to be carried out on a stretcher on the ring. So, but what do you think about young fighters? Obviously, now with Errol's promotion, you just had one tonight. You got a lot of young fighters in camp with Errol. You got fighters like Charlo and fighters that used to be in camp like Rob Brandt, right? What do you think is necessary for these fighters to be able to develop at the right pace? You know, what's the key? Because we see a lot of times people are really hyping, I don't want to say hyping, but speaking highly on a lot of these
I
prospects.
think that it's about developing them. I mean, and it's a lot of work, a lot of focus from the trainer, a lot of work, a lot of time spent together. Because people really, what is happening, it's the difference between developing a fighter and building a fighter. Building a fighter, you padding his record, building his record, right? But developing a fighter, you're not only doing that, you're focusing on the skill and all the technique and everything needs to be done to handle. That's the difference. So a lot of times, the hype comes a lot of times from the fighters that are built.
And Derrick, man, I didn't know if you were still
Built, and then, but the developed fighters, you think about this, they say Errol was hype, but they still don't really kind of give him this kind of his just due. I hear people talking, they're still skeptics. I have no idea why, they're still skeptics. I mean, I think that, I don't know what it's going to take for them to be, you know, he'll be at his retirement party, undefeated like that. Well, he really, you know, so I don't know. I have no idea.
Kell Brook wants the rematch.
No, he really doesn't.
Hey, Derrick, man, just before I let you go, man, just had to ask about Canelo Jacobs. How you see the fight?
I go for the American fighter every time. Team USA. When I fought in the USA, on the USA boxing team, I go for another kid who's from America, you know, Team USA.
Does he got to use, you know, a lot of great American fighters out of that amateur system? They use that lateral movement.
Right.
Is that what he's got to do against Canelo?
I don't know. I'm gonna look at it as a fan. I'm going into these things as a fan, so I don't have any personal desire
You and
to
Errol
deal
big
with
fans, big boxing fans, because obviously being PBC events, those are events within your own promotion or what have you. But we'll see you like you at Canelo Triple G, you both were.
Yeah.
When you guys are there, do you guys ever scout? Because I mean, obviously a lot of fighters, just like Mikey moved up and challenged Errol. A lot of fans, would love to see Errol move up to challenge Canelo.
Yeah, eventually, that's a possibility. I mean, but that's like so far away.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we look at what's in front of us right now. Whoever we fight in September or whatever, or whenever. So I believe in taking step by step. I go to the fight. I never scout anybody for what. I mean, I'm there. I'm going to enjoy it. So I mean, I don't put my personal feelings into it. I don't want Errol to fight this guy, that guy. I want Errol to fight, I mean, who he wants to fight. I'm just here to help him get to that point, get him in shape, and work with his skills.
But Derrick,
June 23rd.
just to get that.
Wait.
Go ahead.
June 23rd, Jamel Charlo. How's camp coming?
Hey man, it's cool, man. It's good, man. I think you know, it's like it's good, man. We're good.
Here in Vegas, right? That's what we're hearing.
I mean, I don't know, but I'm not in there. Man, you gotta read the book. Y'all gotta read it.
He dropped some tea leaves by accident. Yeah.
I don't
Y'all
focus
picked it
on
up.
that.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying that, you know,
How are you going to keep such a high-strung athlete so composed? Because me being a former collegiate athlete, if I lose to a guy or a team, it was basketball, you want to, we play them twice a season in the league, you want to get back. And Jamel Charlo is so high-strung, very engaged. How are you going to reel him back
I mean, it's a process. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's an understanding of yourself. When you know what you're doing, you know who you are. You don't really get caught up in that. You know, we're not even talking about that other thing. It's the first fight. It's not. We're not talking about what happened. It's the first fight right here. I'm not mentioning it. You know, it's over because that doesn't even matter anymore. That thing is like done, right? So I'm just talking about what's coming up now and what's next. That's the first fight.
So you said you didn't catch the Terence Crawford fight last weekend. Danny Garcia.
I watched that fight.
You did. What were your thoughts on that performance? Obviously, Sean Porter previously fought Granados, as did Adrian Broner. What were your thoughts on the performance, or what did you think of the fight?
I think he did good, man. I think he did good. I mean, he did what he was supposed to do. I mean, he did what none of the other guys were able to do. That's right. So, I think that was dope.
At this point, Errol Spence to me is still the most avoided guy in boxing. I don't see anybody really calling him out or rushing to fight him. Why is that right now? Because we saw when you fought Mikey, we saw a new side of him. We never saw the boxing before.
And that was nothing. He didn't show nothing different. So there's more to whatever he can do that you didn't see. And that's the reality of it. So, I mean, he can do nothing. I mean, it's just, but look, what's funny about it is, like, you watch the fight, and, I mean, he fought the fight he was supposed to fight. I mean, he didn't do anything spectacular. I don't think he fought a great fight, very poised, very controlled. Fight out, that's what you have to do. I mean, with Mikey, watching the videos of Mikey, you can't see anything. It doesn't give you anything because he really is that good. He's that technical. He does one small thing where he throw a jab. He drops his hand and brings back up. Split seconds. So he's not going here. He go here, then he come up. So, I mean, that's not enough to go off or whatever. But it was all about the conversation that people were having. How smart he was, how intelligent he was. Okay, so you don't give him time to think. And they were so, I think, believing that Errol was going to come in and fight the same fight he's always fought. And so high strung on that. I went in with Mikey can possibly do this or do that, do this or do that. So I prepared him for what he possibly could do. I prepared him for if Mikey comes at him, prepared him for, because I said, Errol, he only has 2 or 3 things he can do. Point blank. He's smaller than us, he's shorter than us. So either he's going to put the pressure on you, or he's going to try to catch you while you're coming in, or maybe he'll counterpunch. So you're preparing for all those 3 scenarios, not just the one coming in, because he may not do that. You know what impressed me also is that Spence was back in the gym Monday after the fight. Yeah.
He didn't take a day off. He didn't take a week off. He didn't go on vacation.
He likes to stay fit, man. He likes to stay in shape. He wants to keep this thing going, so just to build up from being in shape to better conditions.
So no break for you either? You go straight?
He's always in the gym. Coach, I gotta ask, Rob Brandt, a fighter you used to work with, no longer do, but he was with Eddie Mustafa in the Murata fight. What are your thoughts, though? Did you happen to watch when he fought Murata?
I haven't seen him fight, but I talked to him. So because we were flying, and when I was going to LA one time, he was fighting the last fight, the defense.
Right.
So, I mean, I'm happy for, listen, man, I'm happy for Rob because we got no issues.
Right.
So,
he made that clear.
Yeah, so I'm happy for him. Listen, I want him to be the best he can possibly be. That's hands down him. And then it'd be asinine for anybody in the world to want success and wish somebody else failed. And even, listen, I want him to be the best. I still text him. I'll text him now. Before the fight, I'm texting him. I'm hitting him up. Just to tell him, last fight I told him, don't let anybody take something that you earn. And to let, like, you ain't fight this guy. Don't let him take what you earn, what you work for.
His fight against Murata was here in Vegas. He came in there as a clear B-side. He was supposed to be an opponent. Leading up to that fight, the talks were Murata versus Triple G in Japan. He came in there, threw the second most punches ever thrown in a middleweight bout in boxing history.
Remember I told you the B-side, the A-side is the person, the B-side is the person that loses. You know what I mean? So regardless of what they say, how they build you up, the B-side is the person that loses the fight. Not because the winner is the A-side. It's what the winner is the A-side. So he proved to you he was the A-side. Regardless of what they say, what they talk about, how they had this guy's future planned out.
Right.
The winner is the A side, so Rob is the A side.
I've heard of many conversations from Rob personally, from Thomas Hill, who's also been in camp with you guys now, about sparring that goes on. Rob told me some sparring stories. Told me that Errol jabbed him, hit the backside of his glove, and the next day the opposite side.
No, what it was, he threw it overhand left.
It was the overhand
Rob
left.
blocked the punch. And the next day I rapped with this. What's that on your hand? He said, that's where I blocked the punch from Errol. So think about this. It went through Errol's glove, mitt.
And these 16-ounce gloves,
And
sparring.
it went through Rob's gloves and Rob's hand wraps. I mean, it was a bruise on the back of his hand. That's for real. He had, boom, and Rob blocked the punch. And so, boom, that's how hard he punched, yeah.
Did you ever get a black and blue mark from Spence?
Man, sometimes they hit me my arm, my elbow may be messed up or something, but you don't know.
What's your reaction to Andre Ward having Errol Spence number 8 on his pound-for-pound list?
It's okay. I mean, I love Andre Ward for what he did and who he is as an individual. So it's his own personal prerogative. I mean, look at how people had him down.
If you enjoyed the video, feel free to hit the like, subscribe, and share. As always, if you want to support us to the next level, head over to the patreon.com/ThaBoxingVoice. We have tons of exclusive from Border Wars, from title, betting shows, the list goes on and on and on. But in addition to that, if you guys have questions for fighters, trainers, and promoters, this is where you can submit them. We will run out, get these questions answered, and put it back on the show just for you guys. Appreciate it. Peace.